Welcome to this deep dive. Imagine, if you will, a single seed held in the palm of your hand. So small, yet it contains the blueprint for an entire tree, a potential waiting for the right conditions to unfurl.
Yes, and isn't it curious how that potential resides within almost like a secret language waiting to be spoken
Right?
by the earth and the rain?
Exactly.
It makes you wonder about the other potentials nestled within us,
Yeah.
waiting for their moment to emerge beyond what we currently see.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of the seed a little more. Think about our thoughts, the words we speak, the actions we take. It's been suggested that these are like seeds we're constantly planting in the soil of our lives.
Right.
And this leads to a fundamental principle, karma. Now, instead of a cosmic judgment, think of it as, well, the simple truth of cause and effect.
Just cause and effect?
Every intention, big or small, creates a corresponding effect in your life. Simple as that, really.
Precisely. It's a continuous loop. That feeling of unease after a sharp word, maybe.
Oh, definitely.
Or the lightness that follows an act of generosity. These are the immediate fruits of those seeds.
Right, you feel it straight away sometimes.
And meditation, in this context, it becomes a way to become more aware, doesn't it? Aware of the seeds we're choosing to plant and the soil we're cultivating within.
It brings to mind a story I encountered about a young monk named Tenzin Hai in the Himalayas.
Tenzin.
He was searching for that quiet center within himself, but his mind was just, well, a constant flurry.
The monkey mind we often hear about.
Exactly. So his teacher gave him a single mustard seed and told him to plant it by the river.
Just one seed.
Just one. And to water it diligently each day without any expectation of reward, simply as an exercise in patience, unwavering focus, and trust in the process.
What's so interesting about that instruction is its indirectness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tenzin wasn't told to sit and still his mind directly, but to pour his attention into this external task.
Right. Focus outward to change inward.
And as that tiny seed sprouted and grew into a plant, something remarkable happened within him.
What happened?
His thoughts began to settle, apparently. His emotions found a steadier rhythm. It's almost as if nurturing the external mirrored an inner cultivation.
Wow. Yeah, it makes you consider how focusing our attention, even on something seemingly insignificant, can have such a profound impact on our internal world.
It really does.
You'd think the path to inner peace would be all about intense self-examination, maybe navel-gazing. But this story highlights the power of simply being present with a task.
Being present. And if we connect this to a broader understanding, we find that the principle of focused attention resonates deeply.
How so?
In Buddhist philosophy, there's the state of samadhi. Have you heard of it?
Vaguely, yes.
Yes.
Deep concentration.
Exactly. A profound level of concentration where the mind becomes utterly still and clear, like that undisturbed lake reflecting the sky perfectly.
Okay. And it's fascinating that modern neuroscience is beginning to shed light on this ancient wisdom.
It really is.
Studies indicate that regular meditation can actually lead to physical changes in the brain.
Measurable changes.
Increasing gray matter in areas associated with decision-making and emotional balance, while calming the activity in the amygdala, our brain's center for stress and fear.
Right, the fear center.
So, when studies show increased gray matter in decision-making areas, does that mean regular meditators might find it easier to navigate complex choices in their lives?
Well, it certainly suggests a greater capacity for clear thought and a reduced reactivity to stress,
Okay.
which would definitely aid in navigating life's complexities. A scattered mind, constantly pulled in different directions, it struggles to find that clarity, doesn't it?
Totally. Mine feels like that sometimes.
Meditation, in a sense, offers a way to declutter the mental space, creating room for insight and, well, better responses.
It's like trying to see your reflection in a choppy lake versus a still one. That makes sense.
Precisely.
And it goes even deeper, doesn't it? There's the concept of Rigpa in Tibetan Buddhism.
Ah, yes, Rigpa, our innate luminous potential.
That clear awareness that's always present beneath the surface of our thoughts and emotions.
That's the one. Think of Rigpa as the clear sky of your mind, always present, but often obscured by the clouds, the thoughts and emotions.
Cloud, okay.
Meditation helps you glimpse and eventually, maybe, abide in this natural state.
Right. This raises an important question for you, maybe something listeners can reflect on too. Can you recall a time when a calmer, more focused state of mind allowed you to navigate a situation more effectively?
That's a good prompt.
Perhaps a moment where you responded thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively.
I think we've all had those moments, hopefully more of the thoughtful ones over time.
Yeah, hopefully. This brings us to the idea of the ripple effect.
Ah, the ripples.
Imagine dropping a small stone into a still pond. The ripples expand outwards, touching every part of the surface.
Beautiful image.
It's been suggested that our mindful actions create similar waves of influence, extending beyond just our immediate experience.
Like our inner state affects the outer world.
Kind of. And when we meditate with a specific intention, perhaps visualizing a desired outcome, it's like sending out a particular kind of resonance.
Interestingly, there is a sense that where our attention goes, our energy flows. Have you felt that?
I can so, yes.
So if our minds are constantly dwelling on worries or what we lack, that's the energy we cultivate, internally anyway.
Right, stuck in a loop.
But when we intentionally focus on positive states like gratitude and generosity, it can create a different kind of energetic pattern.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. For example, the idea of cultivating financial well-being by meditating on gratitude for what we already have and practicing generosity.
Not just wishful thinking.
No, it's not just about passively wishing for abundance, but actively nurturing the feelings and actions that align with it, creating a positive feedback loop.
And this principle seems to extend to all areas of life, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, if you long for deeper connections, meditating on feelings of love and compassion can shift your own internal state, which naturally influences how you interact with others. Or if you're pursuing a career goal, visualizing yourself acting with confidence and clarity can build that inner conviction.
So it builds from the inside out.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the consistent effort, like those regular ripples in the pond, seems to be key. You can't just do it once.
Right, which I imagine is where many people might find it challenging. How do you maintain that consistency with meditation?
Ah, consistency. The tricky part.
Especially when you're just starting and maybe don't see immediate tangible results.
That's a very important point. It often comes down to establishing a gentle rhythm, creating those small daily practices that become anchors for our mindfulness.
Anchors, I like that.
And dealing with the monkey mind, that restless stream of thoughts that jumps from one thing to another.
Oh, I know that one well.
Meditation is a way to gently guide this energy, to bring our focus back to a chosen point, like the breath or a specific intention, again and again.
The analogy of a flashlight comes to mind.
Odd.
An unfocused beam scatters its light, right?
Right.
But when concentrated, it becomes a laser with a much more directed and powerful effect.
That's a great analogy. It's similar to our mental energy dispersed thoughts versus focused awareness.
Channeling that energy.
To illustrate the transformative power of this focused attention, consider the story of Milarepa.
Milarepa, okay.
He went through a profound journey from a place of intense anger and a desire for revenge
Wow.
to one of deep wisdom and compassion through years of solitary meditation in the Himalayas.
Solitary meditation. That takes discipline.
Indeed. His story really highlights the potential to tame even the most turbulent inner landscapes through unwavering focus.
So if someone is feeling overwhelmed by their own monkey mind during meditation, what are some practical ways to work with those distractions? Not necessarily aiming for Milarepa level focus right away.
No, perhaps not. One helpful approach is to simply acknowledge the thoughts as they arise, without judgment.
Just notice them.
Notice them. Perhaps even label them gently thinking, planning, worrying, and then gently, kindly guide your attention back to your chosen anchor.
Like the breath.
The breath is common, yes. Or a word or image you're focusing on. It's not about stopping the thoughts entirely, that's usually impossible.
Yeah, that feels impossible.
But about not getting carried away by them. Less entanglement.
Okay, less entanglement. This idea that consistent, small actions create momentum is really encouraging.
It really is. Baby steps.
It leads to the understanding of daily rituals as more than just routine. They become these intentional pauses that infuse our day with mindfulness.
Exactly, and this resonates with Buddhist practices like, say, the offering of incense or the gentle repetition of mantras.
Ah, okay.
These things create a sense of sacredness, a pause, and help weave mindfulness into the fabric of daily life. Even a few minutes of quiet contemplation in the morning can set a powerful tone for the day.
There were 3 practical suggestions that stood out to me from what I've read.
Oh.
Beginning the day with a guided visualization of your goals.
Setting intention.
Practicing gratitude before sleep.
Always helpful.
And taking mindful breaks throughout the day to simply reconnect with your breath, even for a minute.
What's remarkable is how these seemingly small acts, when practiced with consistency, build upon each other. Think of how a steady drip of water can eventually carve through even the hardest stone.
That's a powerful image. Water carving stone.
Over time, these mindful rituals shape our inner landscape and, in turn, influence our outer experience, slowly but surely.
So for someone listening, wanting to create their own personalized rituals, what guidance might be helpful? Where should they start?
Well, I think the most important thing is to find practices that resonate with you.
Make it personal.
Yes. And that you can realistically incorporate into your daily life. Don't aim too high at first. Start small, perhaps with just 5 minutes of mindful breathing each morning.
5 minutes. That feels achievable.
The key is the regularity, the gentle returning to the practice. And please, be kind to yourself if you miss a day. Just begin again the next. No big deal.
Just begin again. That's good advice.
Yeah.
This idea of our energetic presence and how it interacts with the world is so compelling too.
The resonance idea.
Yeah. There's a sense that everything is interconnected and that when we meditate with a clear intention, we're sending out a form of resonant energy, like a tuning fork.
It's almost as if our inner state creates a subtle field around us. You can feel it in people, can't you?
Definitely.
The practice of loving kindness meditation, or metta, beautifully illustrates this.
Metta. Loving kindness.
By cultivating feelings of warmth, compassion, and goodwill towards ourselves and others, we naturally emanate a more positive and connecting energy. It changes our vibe, you could say.
It's like creating a different atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can feel the difference between someone who is tense and closed off and someone who is open and kind.
Absolutely. And the idea is that by consistently nurturing these positive emotions through meditation, we become perhaps a natural attractor for positive interactions and opportunities, like attracts like, in a way.
Okay, so for someone wishing to cultivate genuine loving kindness in their meditation, what might be a helpful approach? How do you do metta?
Well, a common suggestion is to gently repeat phrases of well-wishing. You start with yourself.
Start with yourself. That's interesting.
Often the hardest part. Phrases like, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be at peace.
Okay.
And then you gradually extend those wishes outwards to loved ones, to neutral people, maybe people you see every day but don't know.
Like the bus driver or barista.
Exactly. And then maybe eventually even to those with whom you may have difficulties.
That sounds challenging.
It can be. The key is to try and feel the sincerity behind the words, even if it's just a little bit at first. It's a practice.
A practice.
Right.
Now, while focus and intention are important aspects, there's also this vital element of surrender, isn't there?
Surrender. Yes. Consider the principle of Wu Wei.
Wu Wei. Effortless action.
Often translated that way, yes.
Yeah.
Or non-attachment. It's not about giving up or being passive, though. That's a common misconception.
So what is it then?
It's more about releasing the need for rigid control and trusting the natural unfolding of life. Letting go a bit.
The image of a butterfly comes to mind. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you.
That's a lovely image for it.
But if you sit quietly, it might just land gently on your hand.
Exactly. It's about letting go of that tight grip on how we think things should be and being open to how they naturally unfold. Less forcing.
And this act of surrender isn't a sign of weakness, right?
Not at all. It's rather an active choice to trust in a larger wisdom, perhaps. To recognize that sometimes our own plans, our own tight agendas may not align with a greater flow.
A greater flow.
It's about finding that balance between focused effort and graceful acceptance.
a dance.
A dance, okay? For someone who finds it particularly challenging to let go of control, and I think that's many of us,
Very common.
what gentle guidance might help in cultivating that trust? How do you practice letting go?
It often begins with small moments in meditation itself. Instead of trying to force a particular state or outcome, like perfect peace,
Which never works. Right. Simply observe your experience with curiosity and without judgment. Notice when the urge to control arises, that tightening,
yeah, I know that feeling.
and gently release that tension in your body and mind. Over time, this practice can extend into your daily life, allowing you to navigate uncertainties with maybe a little more ease.
Little by little. This brings us to the power of intention itself, that initial spark that sets things in motion.
Soma Sankappa, right intention in the Eightfold Path.
Right intention. It's been described as aligning our thoughts and actions with wisdom, compassion, and clarity.
Consciously choosing our direction.
Yes, consciously planting a clear vision in the fertile ground of our awareness.
What's truly powerful is how meditation can amplify our intentions. By quieting the constant mental chatter, we can connect with our deepest aspirations.
Get clearer on what we actually want.
Exactly. And formulate intentions that are more authentic and aligned with our true nature, not just fleeting whims.
And there was a suggestion for brief vision meditation. How does that work?
It's quite simple, really. Finding a place of stillness, vividly imagining your goal, seeing it, feeling it.
Really embodying it.
Yes. Anchoring that vision with a feeling of gratitude as if it's already happening or possible. And then, crucially, gently releasing it with trust. Letting it go.
Letting go again, trusting the process.
The idea is that this practice helps to orient our subconscious mind, perhaps, towards recognizing opportunities that support that vision, tuning our inner radio.
Tuning the radio, I like that. So for someone with a specific aspiration, how can they best formulate a clear and potent intention for their meditation? Any tips?
The key seems to be in being specific about what you desire, yes, but also in connecting with the feeling that achieving that desire would bring.
The feeling behind the goal.
Exactly. Instead of just focusing on a tangible outcome like the new job, try to embody the feeling of confidence or contribution or security that you associate with having already achieved it. Feel it now.
Feel it now. Okay, now shifting our focus a bit from external goals to inner growth. It's worth considering the difference between external success, money, status, whatever, and what's been called inner wealth.
Ah, inner wealth. Yes. Qualities like contentment, compassion, wisdom, the things we cultivate through self-awareness.
It makes you ponder how often we seek external validation, believing it will bring lasting happiness.
The hedonic treadmill.
Right. When true fulfillment often arises from nurturing these inner resources, and the idea that a sense of scarcity is often a creation of the mind.
A mental construct.
Especially when contrasted with the inherent abundance of nature, is quite profound.
It is. Nature just gives, doesn't it? Meditation, in this context, becomes a way to connect with that sense of inner abundance, to recognize our interconnectedness with the vastness of existence.
Feeling part of something bigger.
Precisely. The story of the Buddha renouncing a life of privilege to seek deeper fulfillment through inner liberation beautifully illustrates this point. He gave up outer wealth for inner wealth.
Yeah, that's the ultimate example. So for someone listening who might be experiencing a sense of lack in their life, financially, emotionally, whatever, what are some gentle ways they can begin to identify and cultivate their own inner wealth through meditation?
Well, one powerful practice we touched on is intentionally focusing on cultivating gratitude.
Gratitude again. It keeps coming up.
It does. Gratitude for the many things you already possess, both tangible and intangible. Even amidst challenges, there are always things to appreciate: breath, a sunny day, a kind word.
Finding the good.
And also, practices that cultivate compassion, both for yourself and others, can naturally foster a greater sense of inner fulfillment and connection. Feeling connected reduces that sense of lack.
Compassion and gratitude. Okay. We've touched upon Wu Wei before, this idea of effortless action.
The effortless effort paradox.
And it's further explored as aligning ourselves with the natural order to find a more harmonious way of exerting effort. The image of a river gently carving its path through a mountain.
Adapting and flowing.
Adapting and flowing rather than resisting is such a beautiful analogy for that.
What's important to underscore here is the element of balance. It's not about becoming passive or lazy.
Right, not just drifting aimlessly.
No. It's about finding that sweet spot between striving and stagnation, a kind of disciplined ease, finding the right amount of effort.
Disciplined ease, I like that phrase.
And the practice of meditation can help us to become more attuned to this natural rhythm within ourselves and the world around us, to feel when to push and when to yield.
The introduction of kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold.
Oh, beautiful kintsugi.
As a metaphor for personal growth, is particularly resonant. It suggests that our imperfections and our challenges, our breaks,
Our broken pieces.
can actually become points of beauty and strength, rather than something to hide or be ashamed of.
This encourages us to approach our difficulties with a sense of acceptance, maybe even curiosity, to meditate on them with an open heart and mind, looking for the hidden lessons they might contain.
The gold in the cracks.
Exactly. By doing so, we can transform adversity into something valuable, much like the broken pottery becomes even more precious, more unique, with its golden repairs.
So if someone listening is currently navigating a difficult setback, what gentle way might they meditate on it with acceptance and begin to learn from the experience? How do you meditate on a problem without just worrying?
That's a key distinction. One approach is to simply sit quietly with the feelings that arise, the sadness, the anger, the fear without judgment, or the need to immediately fix or understand everything.
Just allow the feelings.
Allow them, acknowledge them, but try not to get swept away by the story surrounding them, the narrative we build.
Okay.
Gently ask yourself, What is this experience inviting me to learn? What inner strengths am I being called to cultivate? Maybe patience or resilience.
Asking gentle questions.
And try to view the situation from a slightly wider perspective, perhaps recognizing that challenges, however painful, are a natural part of the human journey. Everyone faces them.
Right, we're not alone in it. We began by exploring the potential within each individual, that seed. And now we're returning to the idea of interconnectedness and the ripple effect, this time through the Buddhist understanding of interdependence. Pratityasamutpada, did I say that right?
Close enough. Pratityasamutpada. Yes. The profound realization that everything is connected. Nothing exists in isolation.
Everything affects everything else.
Our actions have consequences that extend far beyond what we can immediately perceive. The ripples go further than we think.
The life of Mahatma Gandhi offers a powerful illustration of this principle, doesn't it?
Absolutely. How his deep commitment to nonviolence, rooted in his own spiritual practices and inner work,
His own transformation.
ultimately led to significant global change. It demonstrates the profound impact that individual transformation can have on the wider world.
It can sometimes feel overwhelming to think about changing the world, though. Like, what can I do?
Of course, it's huge.
But the encouragement here seems to be to begin with small, mindful acts in our daily lives.
Start where you are.
A moment of genuine kindness, the act of truly listening to another person, simply being fully present in our interactions.
It's about contributing to a culture of compassion and connection in our own quiet way, right here, right now, adding our little ripple.
So for someone feeling inspired to integrate more conscious actions into their daily life, what are some simple first steps they might take? Like today.
Oh, it could be as simple as taking one conscious breath before reacting in a conversation that feels tense.
Just one breath.
Or intentionally choosing a kind response, even when it feels difficult. Making a point to give your undivided attention when someone is speaking to you, putting the phone down. Small things.
Small things with potentially big ripples. Finally, we arrive at the understanding that success, well, it's truly a journey of becoming, isn't it?
A continuous unfolding, yes. Rather than just reaching a fixed destination, the process itself.
And meditation, in this light, serves as both a mirror reflecting our current state, what's really going on in here,
Seeing clearly.
and maybe a map guiding us towards our inherent potential.
Well put. Mirror and map.
The analogy of patiently polishing a jewel comes to mind again.
Polishing the jewel.
Each session of meditation, gently removing the layers of conditioning, the dust, the distraction,
Revealing what's underneath.
to reveal the inner radiance that has always been there. It requires patience and consistent effort, though.
Patience and persistence, yes. But the beauty that is revealed is immeasurable. It's our true nature.
And as our time together draws to a close, it's valuable perhaps for listeners to reflect on what success truly signifies for them.
What does it really mean to you?
Whether it encompasses financial well-being, meaningful relationships, or that deep sense of inner peace we've talked about, or all of the above.
And the essential understanding, the key takeaway perhaps, is that the tools to cultivate that success, in whatever form it takes for you, reside within.
They're already here.
They're already here.
It truly feels as though committing to this practice of mindfulness, of meditation, is like embarking on a sacred pilgrimage.
A sacred pilgrimage. I like that.
A journey of self-discovery and transformation.
Indeed. As you reflect on our conversation, thinking back over it, what single insight resonates most deeply within you right now?
That's a good question to end on.
Maybe it's the power of a single breath, the stillness of a quiet moment, or that interconnectedness of all life.
I think for me, it's the gentle reminder that even the smallest, most consistent acts of nurturing our inner landscape,
Tending the inner garden.
yeah, like tending to that mustard seed with care, can lead to the most profound and beautiful growth, both within ourselves and somehow in the world around us.
Planting those seeds.
It's about planting those seeds of intention with mindfulness and trusting in the natural process of blossoming.
Beautifully said. And with that gentle reflection, perhaps we can invite ourselves and everyone listening to carry this sense of quiet presence with them throughout the rest of their day.
Thank you. That feels like a wonderful place to pause.